What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers weekly tech podcast. This is episode 237, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something, that gives us a little kickback and, of course, keeps the podcast ongoing. With me is my co-host, Ryan. What's going on?
Oh, just came in from outside, had to last minute put the spare on my wife's car because she's like, I think my tire's flat. And thankfully, she wasn't driving it or anything when it went flat, but it looked like she got 2 nails in there maybe. So I was rushing to get that done, get the spare on so we can take it in tomorrow before we get to the podcast. But had to get all cleaned up and ready to go.
I always feel that I'm so bad at car stuff. I'm horrible at anything cars. Anything car related, it's just not my thing. So if I need anything done, I always just take it somewhere. I don't
do anything too intensive, but
yeah,
I'm fine with doing this.
Yeah. So what have you been up to this week? Anything exciting?
This week? I took yesterday off, so I just needed a day and I played a bunch of WoW, honestly.
There you go.
That's what doing. I was I'm just hanging out.
Sometimes you need some time away. I was
I did.
I went away for 2 days to kind of an hour away, just a little getaway for Kayla and I. And we stayed in one of those tiny homes. I've never stayed in one of those before.
Yep.
And that was really, really cool. Just the whole idea of such a small space and how functional it was actually pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. It was actually really awesome. Probably one of the coolest places we've ever stayed.
Yeah, those pictures were pretty sweet. Because we're kind of looking at doing something like that, building or getting something like that for our project we're kind of working on. And so
it was
a bunch of YouTube videos and looking at Instagram, and I was like, oh, I got some ideas from Bob's last day.
Yeah, it was such a really cool, just the whole time, you see them on Instagram, and you're like, that's so cool. But until you actually stay in one, it was so much fun. And it was just a good couple days. And again, good to get away. I got back just in time. I got back at 11. The Nvidia press conference was at 12. So it was,
just made it.
Not, I wouldn't call it a press conference. It's a event.
Product, really, yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it. So I got back just in time. For that. And there was so much going on this week. Of course, we will get into all of that. If you guys want to follow along with everything that we're going to be talking about today, in the description of this video or in the show notes, we'll have everything. Let me bring it up on screen so you can see, but you can follow along with everything that we're going to talk about today. So if you want to see what's coming up, but we will get to the Nvidia stuff. We'll talk about some of the stuff going on the site. And then, of course, we'll get to everything Nvidia, because that's kind of the big announcement, everything that we've been waiting for, and some really, really exciting stuff. But we'll jump into reviews first. And I took a look at a product that I've actually been using on this podcast for at least 3 weeks. This might be the 4th week that I used it. It is the Sound Blaster, Creative Sound Blaster K3 Plus. And this is basically an audio interface with a built-in mixer. So if you're like us, we record this podcast. I typically like to use an XLR microphone. Mm-hmm. So to use an XLR microphone with a PC, you need some type of audio interface, somewhere where you can plug the XLR mic in, and so it can go in your computer. And I had one for a long time that worked really well, but it didn't really give me, besides volume control, it didn't give me anything else. I didn't get any type of.
It was pretty basic, but it did the job, but there were no frills, right?
Yeah, there were no frills to anything. Actually, let me bring this out, because I can do some of this stuff live on the podcast, which would be kind of cool. So I can actually
doing it live.
Watch, I unplug it by accident.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. Let me bring this out here and not knock everything over. So I have it in front of me. I'll bring a better picture of it up, but it's really small. It can take 2 XLR inputs. It actually has a guitar input as well, so you can hook up a guitar or a electric piano or a keyboard. You can do kind of stuff like that. And it's not just for gaming, streaming, podcasting. You can set it up to do karaoke. You can set it up to play a concert. You can do it all. And what's really cool about it is it is powered by USB, but there's no drivers or anything. So when you connect it to your PC, You don't need it; just works. 2, you don't need a PC to actually use it. So as long as it has USB power, you can. It has output, so you can connect speakers up to it. Like you can. It's really cool, really functional. So you can kind of see kind of what it looks like here. And the big thing, of course, is I do have volume control, which is nice. But I also have bass and treble control, and I can, here I'll turn. If you guys can hear this, I'll turn my bass all the way down. I don't know if Ryan, if you can tell the difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
And then I'll put it back to where I normally have it. There we go. And then I can turn my treble all the way down. So there's my treble, and I can turn my treble all the way up, and I'm sure you guys can hear the difference there. So that is just like a nice kind of to get your voice really where you want it. That's one thing I didn't have my old audio interface. So that was really nice. You can see there is the plus 48 volt. So for everybody using XLR microphones that need phantom power, you have that there as well. There's also inputs on the back to connect a mobile device. So on the back, you see mobile IO. It's just a 3.5 inch audio connector there. And what's really cool about that is you can queue up things to play throughout your stream, which is really cool. So it has that built in. It has a mixer and soundboard built in too, with reverbs. So if I do this correctly, I know I'm going to mess it up on stream because I'm not smart. Hold on. Let me turn on the reverb.
All the excitement of doing things live.
So do I sound different now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's like this is a room reverb, so you can obviously I sound a lot different. Let's just do one more. We'll do Cathedral. So this is the Cathedral reverb.
Yeah, it sounds bigger.
Yeah. So I sound obviously a lot different. We'll do one more. We'll do. So does that sound different?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing cool you can do like live in your stream if you want to do something like that. You also have a soundboard built in, and again, hopefully I don't mess this up. And Ryan, you'll have to tell me because I'm not. You can't hear it unless you're monitoring your own sound. So I will turn the soundboard on, and let's do 5. Oops. So tell me if you hear this through the stream.
Yeah, what was that?
Was that a gunshot? It's supposed to be a gunshot.
No.
Oh wait, what does it say? I'm trying to read the. That's supposed to be a gunshot.
No, definitely not.
Let's try. What is that?
Like a little kid giggling.
Yeah. So there's 6 built-in soundboard effects, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it has like some cool things you can do. Now there's only those 6 built in, but it
I wish you could can you customize those sounds? Like, can you swap out those sounds for a different sound clip to play?
You could not do that.
Dang.
But it does have that mobile IO, right? So you can actually use a soundboard app on your phone, and just you can do it that way. So it's much more functional than a normal. I would say than a normal audio interface, right? And it sounds really good. You guys have been listening to me on the podcast here. It sounds really good. It just adds a little bit more. And again, it's incredibly functional, meaning that I can it's small, it's compact. I can easily take it with me. There's no big power adapter. It uses a micro USB cable for power and connecting to your PC. I can use it with a laptop. Say if we ever eventually go back to CES after COVID, we can take this with us and record a live podcast, and it can sound good with an XLR mic. You know what I mean? It does have a voiceover feature as well, which is sort of like RTX voice, but I feel RTX voice is better. But yeah, it has a lot. And this product has been out since 2018, so it's been out for a while. But I still think it's very functional. And with the other, say like Go XLRs being completely sold out, and this only being, it's $100 right now. It was actually,
that's such a good deal.
Yeah, it's only $100 with everything that you get with it. I think it's a amazing deal right now. The only con that I said is you only have the 6 onboard sound effects, and there's no stand for it, so I have it sitting on its side right now. I wish
it could be like angled up, right? Like the Stream Deck, right? It has a stand that's adjustable, so I can tilt it.
Yeah,
that sitting flat, you almost want to have it at an angle so you can read what each of those dials or buttons do.
Yeah,
right?
it would make it more functional, especially like for PC use. It would make it much more functional. I couldn't find a stand online for it. Like I just wanted to buy one, so I don't know if somebody needs to 3D print one.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna go look on Thingiverse real quick.
Yeah, to see if I could get one of those. But besides that, it's incredibly functional. So I would check out that review. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and for $100, it's such a good deal. And with everybody, needing a better microphone from working at home, this is a great device to pair with an XLR mic. So
yeah,
check that out. And also talking about working from home, you took a look at another device that can be used for that.
Yeah.
It's a portable monitor. So you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's a super light and weight 15.6-inch monitor. I'm pretty sure the brand is Zissus or Zissus, right? And it's like the name of the product is what it is. It's Zissus 15.6-inch portable monitor. So super thin, super light. The nice thing about it is it's powered by USB. So they include a bunch of cables in there for you to power it. So it's got 2 USB-C cables, 2 USB-C ports as well as an HDMI. So we'll get to those in a second. But it is a 1920 by 1080 screen there, IPS, 60 hertz. But the the response time on there is like 30 milliseconds or something. So definitely not like a gaming monitor or something that you're gonna want to play a lot of fast moving, color changing content on. As you can see there, kind of on the back, it folds back. It reminds me kind of like some of the Surface or other tablet devices, but that back stand there is actually where all your inputs are and all the controls. So on one side, in that first image, we have like a 3.5 millimeter audio out, so you can hook up speakers or hook up your headphones. And then there's a little toggle dial to go through the menu on the screen, and then you have a power button there. Another really nice thing about this is it's a metal bezel all the way around this on both the screen and the stand. So it adds a little strength to it. And then it's just matte black plastic panels on the front and back. But it's a pretty nice build quality. The stand's nice and kind of stiff to adjust. Not like hard to move, but it's not loose and scooting out of the way. So that's nice. And then there on that image, you can kind of see the 2 USB Type-C ports as well as the mini HDMI connection. Either one of the Type-C ports can be used to power the device as well as transmitting audio and video and things like that. So, you can hook it up to a standard phone charger or even your laptop. That's how I use it right there in that image. I have just a Dell laptop is powering the screen and providing the video content to it via HDMI. So don't have to have an external power supply. If you've got a laptop, you can, or another, USB power source, you can power this thing. So I kind of had it working as a secondary monitor there in this image, right? I played some Apex Legends on it. And it's not like horrible. It's a 1080p 60 hertz screen. I wouldn't want to play on it a ton, but if you're traveling with it or just taking along with you, it'd be fine. I had no real complaints. You can hook it up to an Xbox or really anything that supports a 1080p HDMI signal. I also use it in more like productivity types of uses. So I've been working from home a little bit every now and then. And instead of using this setup, which is like 3 screens, and all sorts of setup, I have just a separate work area that I use a laptop. And then this is a secondary monitor. And it's super nice to, if I don't want to work down in my office here, I can take it upstairs and just work up there for a couple hours and then move back down here. And it's not a big deal to just pick this thing up and go, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I know I was for a while that like I could not be productive without 2 screens, right? Mm-hmm. And so many people now they're issued, because they have to work from home, they're now issued a laptop, right? Yeah. And this is the perfect thing to add that second screen so you can be more productive per se, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have those connections, like larger places, or you need the mobility, like for me, we're deploying laptops and we're providing a secondary monitor for folks working at home. And it's a 22-inch, Dell monitor, and they're, our pricing's pretty nice on them. But if you're someone that needs to travel or just needs options, and you just know you need HDMI and some basic power, this is an awesome option. I'm really excited to use it though in the next, I don't know, couple weeks. It's my son's birthday coming up this weekend. He's getting a Nintendo Switch. I hope he's not watching this. I know he's not. So, but like for using it in the car, right? So him and his sister can play games in the car, and I'll figure out a way to power it, in the car off of a,
you could
plug in there and everything, right? So little bigger screen than the Switch, but I think it'll still, I don't know, we'll give it a shot. Kind of excited.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I just think that we've seen so many of these, they're just so great because they're easy to break down, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just you can store it. So like say we're doing the podcast now or we're streaming later, I only have one screen. I like this big wide screen. But maybe I want another screen for chat, right? So I can see it. But then when I'm done, I still want this clean look of my desk. I can just put this away. I can put it in the shelf behind me. You know what I mean? It is, I love that. And I love that it's powered by USB, which means technically you could probably power it by a power bank, which is really nice for travel. If you have a laptop, you obviously have that USB connection. And you can obviously use the USB connection for data as well, going across too. So if you didn't have HDMI out on your laptop, you could still Type-C it out that way too. So really, really cool.
Yeah, I just wasn't able to test it with my phone. Like they say that it supports a Pixel, but Google has kind of locked down some of the video across Type-C. Price-wise though, right around, what is it, $185 right now? I think that price it's gone up a little bit recently, but that's currently what it's selling for. I gave it an 8 out of 5. It could use a little more brightness.
8 out of 5.
Sorry, 8 out of 10. 8 out of Oh man. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Brightness was a little bit of not an issue, like especially if you had the lights down, it was perfectly fine. In really bright settings, it kind of struggled a bit. But again, it's not designed to be something you're going to do your color editing for Photoshop or anything like that. It's just a portable monitor to get you some extra screen real estate. So.
Yeah, I like that. I like the whole idea of that. Yeah. And this whole design that kind of looks like the Surface is just perfect. Like it just works. You don't need these weird stands that just break or they're made crap. It's good.
Yeah, it folds down. Just throw it in your laptop bag.
Yeah,
good to go.
Cool. Well, that is it for our reviews this week, and of course, that brings us to Case Mod Friday, and we have a piece of art this week. I would say it's just very unique, very cool, and a very unique way to use the chassis that is being used here. This is called Project ONDA, which is the Italian word for wave. This is done by Explore Modding. It looks like a piece of art. As I said, it's very interesting build. This is done on the Hydra Mini, which is basically more or less like a test bench. And it's completely different than anything that I've seen done on the Hydra Mini. And it's one of the first or second builds to use the ice ball that we saw at CES in January, which is the pump res, or is it just a res? I think it's a pump too.
No, yeah, it's both from Alpha
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Looks like they got an Alpha Cool block there. Looks very familiar. I've got one sitting right next to me.
Yeah. I like the colors. I just like it. And of course, like the wave with the wood just kind of sets it off. And it's like, the graphics card's over here. The graphics card is just, there's no water cooling there, but how the water cooling comes out, and there's clear tubing here, but then it's chrome here. It's just really cool, just different. I really like it. I don't know what you think about it, but
it's not my style. I think it's unique, and I mean it looks good. I think it would have maybe been kind of neat if you could have incorporated some of the tubing inside of those curves, like those moon shapes. Yeah, he's got some tubing holding them together. If you could have ran that through those holes, I don't know. This is just me. It's fine. But yeah, totally different use of that Hydra.
Yeah, I think
it's for sure, because right here it's just like a mounting plate, right? It's not holding anything up. It's other than it's mounting components to it. But yeah it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I really like it. So definitely check that one out. He has a video on it as well.
Too. Yeah.
And you can definitely check that one out. One of the more unique builds we've seen lately, just completely something you don't expect. So go ahead and check that out. And I put out another new video. So I've been trying to do a video a week on the YouTube channel, and try to cue it up to where that's like actually something you guys might want to see. I did a sort of behind the scenes of, if you guys have noticed, I moved. We talked about it on the podcast. I moved a few months back, but I made a video of like the temporary office setup that's basically in my living room. So if you guys wanted a behind the scenes look of where, of course, we do the podcast here, but where I shoot my videos, and I do highlight some new products coming up that we are going to review in the video. So check it out. It's like I said, it's more behind the scenes, kind of give you guys a look of what my living room basically looks like with all the products and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, it's good to see, all your organization, where you keep stuff. You're like, oh, here's my box of memory, got my CPUs here.
Yeah, you get to see.
There's all the stuff we got coming down the pipe. Yep, that was cool.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. And we do want to remind you guys that we are giving away or not one, but two Patriot Viper VPN 100 M.2 SSDs. These are awesome. They're just once you go from SATA SSD to NVMe, you like never want to go back. I remember like getting the first one to review, and I was just like, this is real speed. Like, it's so fast. Especially if you're using it as a boot drive. Like, I think like Windows, like with an SSD, Windows is like 17 seconds or 18 seconds to like full, like when you hit the power button, like 17 seconds, it's like 6 or something like that.
See, I never end up like that, because I feel like I buy boards that just have slow BIOS. I could probably tweak the BIOS to get rid of some post options and stuff, I think. But
yeah. But there are 9 days left on this. We do it through Gleam, super easy to enter. So that is all, again, in our show notes, the links to all that, so you guys can get entered into that. And I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for, of course, the news, the Nvidia news. Like I said, I got home and I watched the video or live stream, which was done very well.
I already know if it was live, though. It was all pre-recorded.
It was probably pre-recorded, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel that they get hype. I mean, obviously, it's a new graphics card from Nvidia, so people are going to be excited. But I think that they did it right. And I didn't even notice the card behind.
I did. I saw it with the spatulas.
Yeah. Well, one, he has like 30 spatulas, which makes no sense. But if you guys didn't see the video, you can find it online. But the big thing is that we have an official announcement from Nvidia on not 1, not 2, but 3 graphics cards. So we'll start at a lot of people like to do it from the bottom, but we're starting at the top with the big boy, which is the
it is big.
This is the RTX 3090, and I'll actually bring up, because Nvidia didn't initially release the details, like the details on all of the cards. Yeah, let me see if I can bring that up while we're talking here.
When he pulled it out of the oven, though, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so the 3090 he actually pulled out of the oven, which was really cool. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, no, I really liked how Nvidia partnered with a bunch of like their add-in board partners and everything on social media, where they went back like, I don't remember how many years it was, and they're like, oh, this day is this year, right? Kind of as a countdown through history, and like just showing the cards and different versions of cards that had come out and what games were popular what year, just leading up to this release. Was pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm still bringing up the specs on all the cards.
Sorry. Oh, you got pulling all of them up?
Yeah, I'm pulling all of them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I knew that like yesterday the live stream was starting at 11 a.m. my time, and of course I got playing WoW and got distracted, and then I was like, oh shoot, I'm like 6 minutes late. I probably missed it, and I just got on right at the right like perfect time. So it was good to sit there and take a break from WoW, find out about some new GPUs.
I just like every time I go to the Nvidia site, it's like different. It's weird.
Hey, that is kind of weird.
All right.
Find what you're looking for.
Sort of.
Sort of.
How do I?
I've
never used the Nvidia website to compare all the cards. Okay, here we go. Compare. That does not give me what I want.
Doesn't get you what you want.
No.
We don't have an article with an image of it or anything.
No, we have all that. I was trying to
just get side by side.
Yeah. Hold on. Why is like every time I go to their website, it's literally different. But anyways, we'll do this. Okay. So yeah, the RTX 3090, which was funny, is in the video. He's like, he did the Steve Jobs. Oh, one more thing.
Kind of. Yeah.
So the RTX 3090, as they said it, is as he said it, is the Titan. Replacement. Based on its naming, we didn't think that it would be that. It's weird that they're getting rid of the Titan naming. I didn't.
I don't know.
Problem with it.
Yeah.
But they are opening the RTX 30, like the Titan. You can only buy from Nvidia, right? Mm-hmm. One design. But maybe that's why they changed the name, because they are opening the RTX 3090 to add-in board partners. So you will see a ton of custom RTX 3090s, which is exciting. But this is the new flagship graphics card. It will have 24 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory.
GDDR6X.
GDDR6X, sorry.
Yep. No.
Over 10,000 CUDA cores, so 10,496 CUDA cores. That is crazy.
That's a big number, yeah.
So that is the big boy card. That is the one. I wouldn't say most people should buy this card. I don't think.
No.
It's $1,499, which for a Titan level card and the performance that they're talking about is actually not a. I mean, if you think of a Titan level card, $1,400 is not crazy.
Yeah, no, nobody's surprised by that. If this is kind of the replacement for a Titan.
Yeah. So then we move down to the RTX 3080, and this is basically the 2080 or 2080 Ti replacement, right? This is the high end. Right. This is the consumer flagship card. Yeah, consumer high level card. Now, while the 3090 is 3-slot, this is a 2-slot card. Probably a little bit bigger than 2-slot technically, but it's a 2-slot card. The specs on this one, which see, this is why we don't do it live. I might be able to break down the specs. Okay. No, it doesn't. No, full specs. Here we go. All right. So
that's the 2080.
Jeez, Bob, come on now.
It's last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
All right. Let's try this again.
3080.
3080. Okay. Here we go. Specs. Full specs. Here we go. So this
8700.
Yeah. 8,704 CUDA cores. It has 10 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and this is, according to Nvidia, 2 times the performance of a 2080. 2 times.
That's nuts.
That is very, very impressive. And it will only be $700. $700
only, but yes, for the performance you get out of it, considering what like a 2080 cost until today or yesterday, and the performance you're going to get out of it, these prices and performance, as long as they match, these numbers come from Nvidia, right? So let's see what the reviews show in a couple weeks when these launch. But if that matches up to what they're saying, these numbers are amazing.
Yeah, the numbers are just the price in the Nvidia. Well, we'll talk about it. I'll go over the card that I think most people will buy is this little guy, which is the RTX 3070, which we did think we were going to get, but we didn't think it would be announced now.
It's not typically it's not. We just hear about the flagship most of the time from them.
Yeah, so we got the 37. As you can see, it's a much smaller card. I think I have the right one queued up over here. So this has a 5,888 CUDA cores, 8 gigabytes. It's GDDR6, not GDDR6X. This card is supposed to be faster than a 2080 Ti, which currently is a $1,200 card.
Well, they dropped in price today, but yes.
Yeah,
as of last week.
Before this announcement was a $1,200 card. You're going to get that for $500
for a reference card. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like if you're building a system now, well, what it really makes me wonder is, okay, what does a 3060 look like? Like what's the price point on a 3060? Like we haven't touched that card if it even exists, which it's going to, right?
Yeah.
More than likely. But yeah, so these numbers have me super excited.
So the RTX 3080 will be available first, available September 17th. The 3090 will be September 24th, and the 3070 will be October. That could possibly be pushed back to just based on how Nvidia works in that. But if you look at this graph that they have for at least the 37 and 3080, look how, like, they say it is the greatest generational leap in performance. I mean, faster than a $500 card is faster than 2080 Ti. The 3080 is 2 times the 2080. That is nuts.
It is.
I mean,
and that poor 2080 Ti sitting out there in $1,200 land.
Yeah,
you know, like that. To me, that shows a problem that exists or existed with the current GPU landscape.
Yes, and I agree.
Right, and it looks like they're trying to maybe self-correct with this.
Yes, there's a lot of things which I want to talk about in just a second.
Yeah. Okay.
All of the 3 cards will have the same type of cooling design, albeit obviously the 2070 is smaller. Then you move up, the 2080 is a little bit bigger, and then the 3070 is smaller, 3080 is a little bit bigger, and the 3090 is even bigger. Is this unique cooling design, which you can see kind of what Nvidia was thinking, completely redesigned. And I think it's going to be good for they say it's 50% better airflow, cools up to 20 degrees cooler, and is 30% more efficient. So that is good for a reference card, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all those heat pipes that go to the back cooler, and you've got that fan that pulls through. I believe them on the performance, because typically you got a fan blowing through some fins and then hitting up against the PCB, and then it has to go somewhere, right? Whereas with this, it's just going to flow straight through.
Yeah, so you do get the GeForce RTX, which appears to just be in white. I assume that's going to be RGB. That just makes sense. But yeah, you'll have a little logo as well that lights up there. And then the new power connector. I haven't really seen a picture of the 3090 with it, because if you look in this render, or that's a 3080. Well, if you look at 3080,
it shows you too, yeah.
Or it doesn't. That one
shows the lines.
But, yeah, but this one shows it, like 3070. This render of the 3090 does not show it, although it could. Yeah. So I know at least the 3070 and 3080 will have the 12 pin. I like the idea of the 12 pin because it's one connection. I don't like the placement of it on the card though. Front edge. I know the issue with the or if you want to call it the front edge, is that that would make the clearance longer technically. And again, the PCB only goes to right here. This is just an extra fan. So it's going to be in the way, and you'll see cases where you have a cable coming down, but it's better than 2 8-pins, or in some cases there'll be 3 8-pins. And I think the 12 pin is going to be an Nvidia only thing. All of the partner cards that I've seen have 2 or 3 8-pin connections.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's an Nvidia only thing. We shall see, but that is it. So I think here's my consensus on the whole thing is that 20 series came out, it introduced RTX. Mm-hmm. It did not provide a value upgrade if you run the 10 series. At the time, most people didn't care about RTX. And if you bought a 20 series, a 2080, a 2080 Ti, and you turned on RTX, it essentially gimped the card because it took so much. There wasn't enough RT cores and everything else. So the 20 series, and even with the introduction of the supers, they didn't sell the way that Nvidia thought they would. And they want people to use RTX, so they needed more powerful hardware. We finally have that hardware, but just like with the 20 series, if you price it out of the range of most people, which $1,200 for your highest end card is, no kid who wants to build their own PC has that type of money for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. So bring down your barrier of entry into RTX. That way you get the adoption of RTX, in game studios and all this other stuff. So it all kind of makes sense. The barrier of entry is much lower, and they even talked about it in their video. They said that the 20 series got gimped by RTX. Yeah. They said that it's now time to upgrade from the 10 series because they knew that everybody kept their 10 series card because nobody cared about RTX at the time. And the performance, there was no reason to upgrade if you had a 10 series. So now I think that with these cards, especially that 3070 at $500, it will be the time to upgrade if you have a 10 series card.
Yep. Wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, I think that 3070 is going to sell like crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the performance. And when people hear, like, the price may scare them a little, right? Someone that wouldn't spend $500 on a video card prior to this, right? 500 was just too much for them. But when they hear $500 and it's faster than a 2080 Ti, like, I think that's going to be enough to get those people to get past that edge and purchase the 3070.
Yeah, so those were the big announcements. Also, they did show, which we didn't do an article on, but I did want to talk about it. They did show Nvidia Broadcast.
Yeah, this is cool.
Which is made for, of course, us doing these live streams or anything like that. It is RTX voice. So you're going to get all the RTX voice capabilities that we're using right now. At least I think I have RTX. I don't even know if I have it turned on.
I'm using it.
I believe I have it.
I have been since like day one.
Yeah. So you have RTX voice, and then you have very cool video features. So you can, I don't know how it does it. I don't know if there's going to be compatible webcams. None of that was really shown. But they showed somebody with a webcam. They hit one button and it blurs their background. So I have an $800 camera that's slightly blurring this background. And now you can, we don't know the details, but the way they showed it, you just hit a button and it would actually blur your background, which is awesome.
Yeah. Or swap it out.
Yeah, or swap it out. So a lot of people buy green screen so you can just see the cutout of them in their stream. Now you won't need that green screen. It will be able to do it automatically. I think Razer had a webcam that did that. I'm pretty sure they did.
Well, and some softwares do, like, I can do that in WebEx without having a green screen and using my integrated webcam. Like, it'll do it. Cool. It doesn't look awesome. Like, it's okay, but nothing like what they were showing yesterday.
Yeah, and there's also a feature of it where the camera, essentially, I don't know if it's by zooming or how it does, but it will follow you.
I'm guessing what they do is let's say you have a 1080p camera, they zoom in on it or stretch it so your image quality may go down a little bit, but then they have the room of the canvas in order to have it follow you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Was that all of the RTX? What's it called? It's called
I think Nvidia Broadcast or Studio, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Nvidia Broadcast. It could be wrong, but in any case, that was one of the really, really cool announcements with this.
I think it'll all be in one application too.
Yes, it's all in one app,
really nice.
which is really nice. So that was really cool to see. So that's another reason to, and I assume just like RTX voice, you need an RTX graphics card. But that would be another reason to buy it. I think that, I spent how much money on this camera. I mean, I do like the quality. It's going to be a better quality than say a webcam. But one of the reasons I got it is so I can slightly blur out the background and do some of that other fun stuff. And then people buy, spend $100 on a green screen and all that stuff for more professional looking stream. Now they're going to give you better audio with RTX voice and obviously better video capabilities with that feature as well. So that I thought was really, really cool. We're going to skip down to ray tracing because it was part of the Nvidia announcement. One of the it's the second biggest game, right?
What's number one?
Fortnite's number one.
No, what's number one if it's not?
Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
Well, regardless,
either way,
Fortnite is getting RTX ray tracing. This is completely smart by Nvidia to do this. They did it with Minecraft. I would say that this is more for kids who have their parents buy them PCs. Right. But for it to have the number 1 and 2 most popular games in the world have ray tracing and to have that capability and to have the, have it look better and have all these kids be like, oh, I need this RTX card so I can make it look like this. It's just smart. You know what I mean?
See, on this, like, I can see them doing this for the single player or the non-battle royale mode, but I don't get it for battle royale because you're just moving too much. Like to me, you can appreciate the detail and the look when you're just trying to stay alive and kill other people.
You know I do agree with that.
These screenshots look awesome. I think it looks great, but I think it's too fast paced to really appreciate it.
Nvidia also announced Nvidia Reflex, which is a way to reduce input lag, which is mainly for esports, and they talked about that. We didn't cover it all that much, but that is going to be a really cool thing for professional players for like games like we play, like Apex, Counter-Strike Source, or Counter-Strike Go. I'm sorry, that shows my age.
I'm back in time.
Yeah, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that Nvidia is doing, so that's definitely stuff to check out that will be coming. I would play Fortnite just to turn RTX on just to see it. But yeah, and they also showed unreleased footage of Cyberpunk 2077 with RTX on, and it looks amazing. I watched that and I was like, oh, I might actually want to get this game now. I mean,
that's gone on like the way back burner for me. I almost, I don't want to say forgot it because I see it every now and then, pop up on an article, but since it's been pushed back, I've just kind of got it out of my mind. But yeah, that RTX demo or video of it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that looked awesome. So all that stuff, I would suggest if you haven't seen the live streaming from Nvidia, either you can rewatch it. Definitely rewatch it. A lot of cool stuff in there. But also talking about these new cards, something really interesting came out today. Lenovo listed one of their Legion gaming PCs with a RTX 3070 Ti with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. It's a little early to list a card like that. And I do think we have room for cards like this, especially in the higher end. So like a 3080 Ti, because you have the 3090, which is 1400, and then you have a 3080, which is 800. There's a lot of there's a $1,000 card, which would be a 3080 Ti. There's a lot of room there. And then you have the disparity between 800 and 500. You can fit another
ton of room there.
Yeah, ton of room. So it looks like, I mean, just doubling the memory on the 3070 for a 3070 Ti. Does that mean supers are gone? We don't know. But that's something to look forward to. We won't see this for not a very long time, but at least 8 months, if not a year.
You think it'll be that far before we see it? That seems like a long lead time for Lenovo to have like this product designed and ready to go.
It has to be a typo for this specific product. maybe they already have the SKUs for these because they know what's coming.
It's coming down the pipeline. Yeah, that could be.
And they just put it in there by accident. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I mean, it's nice to see a 16 gig option on the 3070. I think of like Flight Simulator, I'm guessing is probably pretty heavy on RAM use. I know there's tons of games that'll soak up 8 gigs pretty quick. So doubling that, it'll be pretty nice.
Yeah. And then with all of the companies announced their products or their 30, at least their 3080s and 3090s. And it's really cool to see the 3090s. One of the more interesting ones came from Inno3D, which features 4 fans. It is their iChill X4
4 fans.
So you have 3 here plus this one. I do like this RGB. I feel like this looks a lot like an Aorus, like a 10 series Aorus card with all the RGB. I do like it, but if you look at these cards again, nobody like that Nvidia cooling design is only going to be used by Nvidia. I don't think on any of these you can see the power connections. You can see the way pins
2 there,
yeah. So like nobody's using that 12 pin, but this card is pretty awesome, I would say. It's funny it says low noise, even though it has 4 fans. But yeah, so their whole idea for cooling on this is to put a 4th fan up here, which I think would look cool in a case, but
what's a cooling? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so but there are a ton of designs out there. So if you guys want to look, like every company kind of announced theirs. So you can
I think the biggest change that I noticed was EVGAs, like from their current design. I did not like the new design. It was like that wavy.
They did tease their Kingpin, but like their new
that's totally different.
Their new
at their FTW.
Yeah, it just didn't look good.
No.
But the same day as the Nvidia announcement, ASUS held their own live webcast or live stream announcing new products. We're not going to go over all of them, but of course the big one is their new Strix graphics card, which I think looks really good. It's a really nice looking card. But what's really interesting, and I want to just talk about it, is like ASUS did a full over 1 hour live stream going over like all of the details in their products and talking about what they changed from the previous generation, how they designed it. Like you don't see that from PC companies besides like, Intel and Nvidia and AMD. Like you don't see that. And it was really cool to see like they went over how they engineered this fan, in the live stream. So like for PC people like us, like it's just really, really cool.
Yeah, it's information we like. Well, and remember when they switched over, I forget the process, but essentially no human essentially touches any of their PCBs and components. It's all done by precision machinery now. Like that kind of felt like that, right? Where they were super excited and wanted to share that because it was a pretty big advancement. This feels kind of the same way. One thing I did want to touch, and if you can make that image bigger again of that card. So right there, it shows 3 DisplayPort and 2 HDMI. Do you notice anything missing that we had previously on the 20 series?
The virtual link. Yeah.
And so I read about it, and they're essentially just dropping it. Nobody wanted to take it on. The headset manufacturers didn't want to utilize it. Nobody was doing anything with it. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is. I honestly didn't even notice that on any of the cards that I've seen. So yeah, so they did announce some interesting stuff. One of the cool ones they did have I think, do we have a story on the 360 hertz? I thought I put it in there, but I guess it didn't. But they announced a new 360 hertz monitor. That's going to be the new kind of standard. MSI announced one as well for competitive gaming. We're going to get the 360 hertz with a new NVIDIA graphics card. So you'll be able to push that at 1080p. Which is really cool as well. New fans and this new router. So it's the new version of the one I have back there. It's the ROG Rapture Gt Axe 11000. It's the world's first Wi-Fi 6E router. It's super fast and I
can't keep up with this.
And the RGB lighting on it is really awesome as well.
So it's 11 gigs. 11,000 megabit per second. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's a lot to say about it. They also announced a new semi-lightweight 79-gram wireless gaming mouse, new mouse pads, and a new keyboard. They also announced a new headset, which is not in this picture for some reason. Really cool new headset, which looked awesome as well. So a lot of cool stuff from ASUS ROG. Just it was really cool to see in a live stream. Like we don't get stuff like that when a company announces a product. They send us a press release. That's it. Like to get a full breakdown of the product, how it's different from the previous generation, how they engineered it, what their whole idea behind it is, was really cool for PC products because we just don't get it. So you can also rewatch that live stream. Just search ASUS ROG, their YouTube channel, and you can replay it. So yeah, moving on from there, there's some new information on the Apple iGPU. And according to some sources, that it might be faster than Intel's new iGPU, which is probably another reason why Apple kind of moved away from Intel anyways. It's just they're doing their own thing, and they're big enough. I feel that they're big enough they can do it. I feel that it will give them everything is going to be controlled, like everything that they can control inside their ecosystem that's made by them. They want to control every part so they don't have issues. It just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the customizations and, integrations between each part of that chip and everything that they do in those products just makes it better for them. They can get better battery life and better performance, customize, do things that you can't do with maybe a chip from somebody else. So, no, it's cool.
Yeah. Also talking about Apple, an interesting story that might change search came out is that Apple might launch their own search engine to compete against Google. Of course, Google pays Apple to make Google their default search engine on all of their devices. This might change, and Apple might have their own search engine, of course, for all of their devices when you hit the search button. Again, this makes sense. I can't say it doesn't. It allows them to charge for ads. It allows them to collect data, which is, of course, worth more money than ads.
That's where the money's at.
Yep. They're a big enough company now. There's billions of their devices out there that would, of course, use this. It's crazy world we're living in with the Apple's making moves. I would say Apple's making big moves. Not only in hardware, but with this search engine as well.
More independent. Don't have to rely on others. And
yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, and that brings us to some gaming news. Just two pieces. One is kind of important if you were thinking about buying a PS5. I know you have an Xbox One. Yeah. I was not thinking about getting a PS5, but if you wanted to get a PS5, it looks like it's going to be again, there's been links on this, but there's going to be a delay of it worldwide. So it will come out holiday season for US and Canada. But for other countries, it says late 2020, which could be like a big deal because like if you're in another country and you want a PS5 and US and Canada get it and you have to wait for it, it's kind of
that sucks.
PO'd. So that's what's going on in the PS5 world. I like the hardware advances that they've made. I couldn't see myself buying a PS5 or the new Xbox. I just couldn't see myself.
Not right away. Like, I didn't buy my Xbox One until
there's not a game.
It had been out for quite a while.
There's not a game on either that would make me want to buy the system, because that's why I bought a 360 was for Gears of War. Like that's a game I enjoyed playing, and you can only play it on Xbox at the time.
Yep.
So yeah, talk about games as well. Game you and I both played. I think you played the first one, didn't you? You played Division?
Yeah, that's the one I played, and what made me super hyped for Division 2. But yeah, I played Division a ton.
Yeah, so Division is now free. It's available free for a limited time on Uplay. As long as you add it to your game library, you'll be able to keep it. Yeah, it's through September 7th.
So coming up.
Yeah, so just
Monday.
Yeah, just download Uplay and add it to your library, and you're good to go. It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good game, and it free. More freebies. Pretty. I'm always pumped for good free games. Like
I know I
I
added a
forget what
bunch.
like the EA on the house, and it was like a game from '98, and you're like, yeah,
I'll go back over to the Epic store and get something.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
picked up
so-
Hitman was free the other day.
yeah,
So I grabbed Hitman. Yeah.
yeah. So
Just keep adding them.
yeah, just keep on adding these free games. I mean, you never know when you have downtime, and that's the best. Now, I know a lot of people are still at home and still have downtime. So yeah, awesome, awesome there as well. And that is it for news this week. Of course, ton of Nvidia stuff. Yeah, that was just a big thing this week. And I'm just like I'm so pumped. I saw them all, and one thing I don't think there's going to be pre-orders
on these cards
because I went to pre-order them.
Oh,
And,
did you?
Yeah, well, I was just like for review sake, I was just like, I'll just buy all three and then I'll send them back or whatever. Or at least I wanted to at least get the 3090 or pre-order it, and I couldn't. So on the big boy style.
Yeah, big boy cards.
Yeah, but yeah, so I don't think there's gonna be pre-orders. From what the vibe that I'm getting is kind of just like they'll let you know when they have them, and then that's it. So yeah, so coming up next week, we talked about it for a second last week, but I have it well, you can't see it in my video, but it is the Fractal Era Itx. This is one cool little ITX case. It's kind of like the case you just like want sitting on your desk because it's small and it looks really cool.
Nice minimal setup. Does it have do you have the one with the glass or the wood?
Glass. So it has a glass top, which looks like that. So that's for you. And then I have some pretty awesome memory. The Patriot Viper Blackout DDR4. I don't want to put 3600. I believe it's 3200. So Patriot has these blackout memory now. So again, a lot of people were all about RGB, and now everybody hates RGB. So these are all black, just to kind of all black basically matches every build out there.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so we have a 64 gigabyte kit, two 32 gigabyte DIMM. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to take a look at these as well and tell you guys some more about them. And that brings us to the end here. We talk about we did anything tech related. No, nothing. Just drawing a blank.
I mean, I got that. Yeah. I think I've said this like every time I'm trying to clean up my room or organize it. Because I usually I have this desk in front of me, and then my PC sits to my right, and then I had another desk exactly like it on the other side. And I'd use that for like photos and had another system there. And so it's actually, I moved it to be on a different wall to just make different use of the space. I'm just trying some stuff. I was just not happy with how my room was. It was clutter. I just trying to fix that. So
it's always hard trying to design your space, right? Mm-hmm. Like luckily I have so this desk is a certain size. So I need this certain size, and I know I always have those shelves. So that kind of allows me to kind of know.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure I could still use my VR in the room, room scale, because I was for a while thinking, oh, I'll butt this desk up to this one and I'll have an L-shaped desk and I'll have a corner. But I didn't like how it was breaking up the room. And then I was like, well, I can't do room scale VR. Not that I've been even throwing my headset on in months. But if I want to have the option. So
yeah, I've been so this camera I took on my trip and I used it a lot there.
This is the new one, right?
Yeah, the slow-mo is amazing.
Look good.
You can only
do 120 frames.
No,
it does just 60.
It does. No, it does insane. I think it does 960, but you can only do that at 720p. But I think I was doing 240, and at night too. I wish I could. Wonder if I can bring it up.
240 FPS.
But crazy. At night too. Let's see if I can. If I can bring it up on.
Show us some cool stuff.
Yeah. Here it is. So here, this is, and keep in mind, this is like at night, 240 FPS.
What's it slowed down to right there?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But the camera automatically does it. But you can only do it for like a certain amount of a certain amount of time, which is kind of limitation. Like my A6300, I can just shoot it for forever. But it's just, let me see if I have any other ones of like just the slow. Oh, I think I did like cooking, like cooking food. But like, look at that, like from a point and shoot camera, like that's pretty impressive. If you know anything about slow-mo, it's just really awesome. So yeah, I played around with this camera a lot more. I'm still learning it. Like I said, I've mainly used it as a webcam. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to play with. So that's pretty much all tech related stuff I did. I did get my quiet PC test bench in, but it's still in the box. So I need to put that together.
The quiet PC test bench.
I ordered it from Quiet. Yeah, it's Strix.
Yeah.
I ordered it from quietpcusa.com.
Yep.
So I have that. That's going to be built in the next couple of days. So I'll probably, put up either a video, like some short video on our social media or some pictures of it. So, but yeah, are we gaming tonight or what? Is that?
Of course. Yep.
So we will be
available.
So we'll be jumping on Apex Legends over at twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. So go ahead and go over there. We definitely appreciate everybody coming out to the live stream. And of course, everybody who listens to us on audio as well. If you're looking to subscribe to the podcast on audio, it's just ThinkComputers, all one word. Until next week, catch you guys later.